Hey, what up, guys? Doing another What's Next. This one is on former world title challenger and interim champion Pablo Cesar Cano. Cano is currently my number 9 fighter in the 140-pound junior welterweight division, or super lightweight, whatever you want to call it. Cano hasn't fought since November of last year when he knocked out little-known veteran Roberto Ortiz in only 2 rounds. That was his first fight since scoring his career-best win, an upset first-round knockout win over former 3-division world champ Jorge Linares. So now Cano is still trying to move himself in line for a bigger, possibly a title shot or a bigger fight. We'll see what he can do. He was scheduled to return against Michael Perez on an undercard, a DAZN undercard, but nothing came of that. So let's run through the top 10, see what could possibly be next for the former world title challenger. So the big question now, what's next for Pablo Cesar Cano? Start with number 1 at 140, and that's unified champion Josh Taylor. He's the IBF WBA unified champ. He's got a mandatory of his IBF title next, so Cano's not on the radar for him. Next to number 2 is WBC WBO unified champ Jose Ramirez. Cano's ranked in the WBC. He's ranked number 4 there, but Ramirez has his WBC mandatory next against Victor Pastal, and then after that would be Jack Catterall, the WBO in the WBO. So Cano is not on the radar for Ramirez right now. Next at number 3 is Regis Prograis. Prograis is supposed to be lined up to fight Maurice Hooker in his next fight. So that fight might not be on the table anymore. It looks like it's still going to happen, but it might not, with the coronavirus pandemic canceling all cards. So I think it's possible Prograis and Cano could possibly fight to move up, because I think Prograis is currently number 2 in the WBC right now, in the WBC rankings. But I think Prograis really wants a big fight, a big name or a title fight, or he's moving up to 147. And Cano just doesn't have that big name, and he's not a champ. So I don't see this one. Number 4 is Jose Cepeda. This is probably, in my opinion, the most makeable fight for Cano. Cepeda's number 3 in the WBC. Cano's number 4. And the number 1 and 2, number 2 is Prograis. He's looking like he's just, he's not interested in fighting in a final eliminator. And Pastal, the number 1, is cashing in on his mandatory. So I think that number 1 spot's going to be open. Cepeda is not with anybody in particular. He's with Zanford Promotions. So he probably could fight on the Golden Boy card. Him and Cano could fight in a mandatory fight. I think this fight is possible next to determine the WBC's next mandatory challenger. Number 5, Victor Pastal. He's fighting Ramirez next. That fight, not possible. Number 6 is former lightweight champion Robert Easter Jr. Robert Easter's not likely going to be fighting him. He'll probably be doing something else. This is PBC and working with Golden Boy anyways. Unless it's a mandatory final eliminator, I don't see it, and this fight won't happen next. Number 7 is former WBO champion Maurice Hooker. Hooker is same thing as Prograis. He's probably going to fight Prograis next. I think he wants a big name, a title shot, or he's moving up to 147. Same thing. And I don't see him and Hooker and Cano lining up to fight each other. That it could happen because it's matchroom with Hooker and Golden Boy has Cano, but I don't see it next. Number 8 is former WBA champion Kira Relic. Wouldn't completely rule it out, but I think Relic's probably going to move to 147. But again, I wouldn't completely rule it out to get back in the rankings, but I'm leaning towards a no. And then we have a 3-way tie for 10th. Ivan Barianchik, not likely to happen. He is with Matchroom, so it would be a makeable fight, but I don't think him and Cano would want to lock horns. I think Cano doesn't want somebody at his level. Adrian Granados, I would love to see it, but that's PBC and Golden Boy working together, so I don't see it happening. And then the last guy tied for 10th right now is Rances Barthelemy, former former 2-division champ. Barthelemi's lining himself up for a WBA title shot. That's, again, PBC working with Golden Boy. Not going to happen, so I don't see it. What do I think Cano's going to do next? Personally, I think he's probably going to go forward with the Michael Perez fight. Michael Perez is a little-known veteran, so not a bad matchup right there for him. Or I really think he should go after a final eliminator against Jose Cepeda. I think that fight would make a lot of sense. It's a very makeable fight for Golden Boy. and Cano should consider it. So that's it. That's the what's next on Pablo Cesar Cano. Hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing. Been here with the truth.